Don't be a flake. Don't run away from your feelings, babe. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't hesitate to say, hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. Hey, babe.
It's time for the Hey Babes. Forget about the bad times, oh yeah. One day to come together, release the pressure. We need another Hey Babe, Hey Babe. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Great hat.
Thank you. You like it?
That's a denim New York Knicks
It's a
hat.
dungaree.
That's a dungaree hat.
Yeah, you want to know the story about this hat?
Yes.
It's a short one.
Okay.
Outlets, $35 full price, triple clearance, $2.99.
$2.99.
I'm not kidding. I bought two.
Just signed an executive deal overall.
$2.99 at the Levi's store on clearance. I bought two at a principal, gave one to Casey Jones.
How good is Levi's?
They're good.
Yeah. Oh, give one to Casey Jones. Shout out Casey Jones.
Shout out Casey Jones.
Shout out Casey
Shout out Levi. Shout out Dungarees.
Shout out Levi. Shout out Jordache. Shout out
sales. Shout out clearances. Shout out triple clearances.
Shout out triple clearances. Shout out triple bypass. You just had a pork chop.
Yeah, either they're both helpful.
They're both helpful.
Right.
Listen, we left last week.
It was a big
episode
cliffhanger,
on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So I think it's only right that we give the answer to that cliffhanger at Patreon. No, I'm kidding.
When our Patreon drops, it's going to be like a nuclear bomb.
It's going to be one of those things where if you're not on our Patreon, the amount of things you're going to miss are like, you're going to miss like seasons of the show.
Yeah, like real world. Everything we've ever said, Patreon, we're going to go down that list and try to get it on the Patreon.
No, we have Pimp. Pimp has been writing down every time we've just, jokingly yelled Patreon. Pimp has for real wrote it down, and we are for real going to do it.
Yeah.
There's not one thing that we've yelled Patreon at that will not be actually put on the Patreon.
And that's the Hey Babe guarantee.
There you go. That's an HBG. Hey Babe guarantee.
That's right. So, boom, 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 boom. Oh, let me just recap.
Let me hear it say way.
Okay. I used to bartend, so I would get home like 5 in the morning, get to bed by 6 in the morning. I used to wake up around 1 in the afternoon. Okay. That was my schedule. I'm sleeping in a small little basement studio apartment that I lived in. Okay. I black out the room because I get home at 6, so I need a pitch black to sleep. So I'm in this little basement apartment. I'm sleeping. This is maybe, I want to call it 15 years ago.
So you want to call it 2006?
I want to call it.
Yeah.
I want to call it. I'm not saying what I'm going to call it.
Yeah. Because you're not that kind of guy that you're going to.
No, I'm not going to call it 2006.
No, yeah.
Right. So I jump up. I'm out of a dead sleep.
Right.
So my eyes are like closed. My head's bed head, and I just look. I'm in Corona pajamas, as I mentioned in the previous episode. If you didn't see it, you might not be able to follow along.
Right. But he does have the vaccine now, so don't even worry about the Corona pajamas.
God bless. You're right. So I hear boom, boom, boom. I jump out of bed. I'm scared out of my mind. I go, hello, who is it? And he says, Sal, it's Dan. Open the door. Dan was my landlord at the time. He was a New York City detective.
Okay.
He lived upstairs from me.
Okay.
I was like, what's going on? So I crack the door. The sun comes in. I'm like looking at him like, what's going on, buddy? He goes, I just came home. My door upstairs is off the hinges. Somebody broke into the house. I think they're still there. Let's go. That's the
what?
He was very efficient with his words. I open the door. The light came in. I go, what's going on? He goes, I just got home. My door upstairs is off the hinges. Somebody broke into the house. I think they might still be up there. Let's go. And he just so my door to my house was down a few steps at the back of the driveway in the back of the house.
Okay.
So he went up the steps and just walked down the driveway and started going. So he didn't wait for my answer.
Nothing.
If I accepted it, if I didn't accept him.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go.
Where?
Let's go where?
Are you going to stop the criminals? Are you leaving? What are you doing?
He wants to go in the house. He says the door is off the hinges. I didn't go in yet. I just got home. Someone broke in. They might still be in there. Let's go.
Yeah, you live with me. You're paying rent, so that means you have to help me with the burglary.
I think he was coming to me as more of a human, like friendship tip, and also, God forbid, he had to get to discover. But I'm not the guy you want to break up a possibly armed burglary.
No,
I'm not the guy any day. Let alone after I just woke up in pajamas with bedhead.
Yeah,
he just walked away. I mean, granted, the guy did not charge me utilities. But like there's a give and take.
But sometimes you have to understand, like that's why you have to ask now. If you're not going to charge me utilities, do you expect expect me to help you in
am I to defend you in a life with that situation because you haven't charged me for gas?
If the event of a break-in, I'm not paying gas because if that's the case, then I'd rather pay for the gas and electric.
I'll pay utilities and avoid the burglary.
In the event of a break-in, it should be stated in your rental contract. I will not, because I pay gas and electric, I don't have to help with a break-in.
Common sense.
But if you don't, but here's the thing, Sal, but you weren't paying the utilities, so therefore I feel it is well within his right. It was owed to him. So what happened?
Okay, so I was caught up in the moment. I didn't know what to do. And he walked away, and so I just was like,
now he's an off-duty cop, right, or ex-cop or something like that.
He was a duty. He was off duty, but duty. He was dutiful at the time, but he was off.
Okay.
He was not retired or anything.
So he's an off-duty cop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, and like a detective, like a
real cop.
Yeah. Like he used to walk around with a gun on him all the time, probably. Like I used to see it.
Which is interesting to me is that because that's what I wanted to get to is he's an off-duty police officer that has a gun, so he's thinking the same protection as my I have a gun, so he's thinking. But in addition to the gun, for extra protection, I need to wake up Sal Vulcano in his pajamas. I would think, why even wake up Sal? Just go in there with the gun.
He didn't give me a second gun.
Yeah.
Like, he had a gun, and we don't know who's in there and if they have a gun. And then just me in my Corona pajamas and with my hands, just my defense techniques.
Well, what are you going to do?
Not much.
Okay, so you go in, now you...
It's sunny. It was hot out. It was like a very weird thing. I just walked out of my door, closed behind me, and I ran after him. I'm in pajamas. I've been up 20 seconds. You understand? Like, I don't even have my bearings.
Right.
I get to the front of the house. He's standing in front of the door. I look. The door is legitimately kicked and hanging off the hinges. Like he said, like no exaggeration. The door is busted in and hanging off of one hinge snapped, and it's hanging in.
Oh, my God.
He goes like this. He goes, pulls the gun from the back, cocks it, holds like this, and then he goes, I'm going to go in first. You follow me. Right? I swear to God. Like, it was very fast.
This is like a movie.
He didn't debrief me.
Yeah.
Nothing. He pulled the gun out. He cocked it. He has a loaded cocked gun in his hand.
You're in Corona pajamas.
I'm in pajamas. And I literally, like, my eyes are probably like this. And he goes, he goes in. And he starts like doing that kind of shit. Like I know, like I was in ROTC or something.
What is this, Lethal Weapon?
Yeah, I don't know what he's telling me.
Yeah.
Like, you canvas this, I'll do this. Yeah. And he just goes in, and he was like out of the movies. He was very like crouched down. He was very methodical. He had the gun, like, you know when they like, you see every movie, like they go and they go in the door like that, and they go like that, and they go like that. He's doing that all around the living room, and I'm just like there, like just like.
Did you follow him?
Well, I let him go a little bit ahead of me, and I just stayed like by the door, and I came in a little bit, and I kind of like walked by.
Birth control?
Birth control. I kind of like walked by him, but I was like, if something goes down, I have to assess first if that person has a gun too. Because if that person has a gun too, I probably have to like skedaddle.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't stay around with bullets flying.
No, I wouldn't.
He clears the whole first level, and then he goes, okay, upstairs. Go upstairs. There's only upstairs now. So if someone's in the house, they're upstairs.
Right.
So he this is true. So he goes. Then he has his gun at his side, and he's going up the stairs very slow, and he has the gun. It was the most surreal thing. He has a loaded gun. We are in a live and active crime scene. He's a detective. I got firsthand experience. Like, you never have this experience.
No, you
I know
me?
what they feel like now when they do when they barricade in the door and they go in to try and break up like a crime ring, like a purse crime ring, like bodegas.
Yeah, it happens.
He's going up the steps, and I remember I'm going up the steps, and it's so quiet, and the steps are creaking. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fucking nervous right now.
Yeah.
And at one point I look down at my hand. I don't know why I did this, but at one point I'm going to look down and I have my hand like this. I made the gun. It was like subconscious, I guess.
Yeah.
I made the gun signs like with my hand. Like I was holding a handgun.
Right.
But it was just from my hand.
Like a just in case.
Yeah. And I was like, doing? Like, what am I gonna do if I get up there? What am I gonna just like bust in the door and be like, pow, pow?
Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing I can do with this.
Yeah.
And we get to the top. There's at the top the door was open, so you could see in like the half bath or whatever it was. And then there was one other door closed, another door open. So he looked, and you could see there's no one in the other rooms.
Right.
So it's just one closed door. So this is the last place in the apartment.
And the door's shut.
And the door is shut that we didn't check yet. So this is like, if there's someone in the house, it's going down now.
Right.
It's going down as soon as he opens his door. And I'm at the top of the steps. I've been up for about 45 seconds, and I had no weapon. And he swings the door open and just puts up his gun, and there was no one in there. So I was like, oh my God, dear God, thank you, God, right? He called the cops beforehand. And they came in that moment. Now, he's a detective.
Right.
There was like 10 cop cars screeched up, and they just all ran in the house and ran up the steps while we were there. Like, they came in that moment, and they just ran in. And immediately, they just, like, he went to speak to someone, and I guess they didn't know, like, what role I played in the situation.
Yeah.
And, like, 3 or 4 cops got right in front of me, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, no, nothing. I came in with him. And he's like, you came in with him? He goes, yeah. He goes, who are you? I go, I live here. He goes, you live here. I go, I live downstairs. He goes, you live in this house. I go, yeah. He goes, so what happened? I go, what do you mean what happened? I don't know. I didn't hear anything. He goes, they kicked the door in. You didn't hear anything? Like, it was getting defensive with me. I go, no, I didn't hear anything. He goes, you tell me how that's possible that someone kicked the front door in, you're downstairs, and you didn't hear anything. So I was like, I was sleeping. Because they don't know my life. You know what I mean? And the cop goes, you were sleeping? And I go, yeah, I was sleeping. He goes, what type of person is sleeping at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? And I got so insulted, but I felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I keep laid out. It was like, I
have a question. Why did he believe so much in your masculinity?
Why did Dan? Yeah. I think in that moment, even if I'm a 2 on the masculinity scale, a +2 is better than nothing. I was like a power up.
Here's my question.
Game, you know, like you grab it, even if it's nothing, you grab it.
I would have, though, in that last door, that when he's going to sweep the house, in that very last door that you said was closed, why wouldn't, if that was me, I would just shoot in the door. Like, I would just start shooting bullets at the door, and then if there is somebody there, they're done anyway. You're in my house. It's all self-defense. I'm not going to open and swing the door.
But I think people have gotten into trouble like that in the past. Number one, if there's someone else in there,
yeah,
I don't know who. Maybe you're like someone, I don't know. Didn't the guy with no legs kill his wife?
I was going to say, did you ever hear that Oscar Pistorius story where he says, I shot my girlfriend because I thought she was a burglar?
Yeah.
And so I shot her in the bathroom. I was like, buddy,
come
on.
Whatever happened with that?
He's in prison in South Africa, which can't be great.
Oh, he went to jail for it?
Yeah.
So they figured that it was premeditated murder.
Yeah. I think, how many years does Oscar Pistorius have? And by the way, the controversy with Oscar Pistorius, he was winning like Olympic events.
Yes.
But he has no legs. He was against normal people, but they're like, that shouldn't count because you got bionic legs. Was it that he was crushing the other handicapped athletes?
I don't
It was one of those.
particularly.
He was sentenced to 6 years. Oh, so he's actually,
Okay, so
he might
he's
be getting out, so he might be listening to Hey Babe.
Yeah. Shout out Oscar Pistorius. I don't know.
Even though the prosecution had called for a minimum prison sentence for murder, which is 15 years behind bars, he was sentenced in July 2016 to 6. So he's got to be getting
out next year if he hasn't been out on good behavior already.
Well, no, I think they're probably going to make.
Oh, look, convicted murderer turned spiritual leader. Isn't that always the case?
It's always the case.
Don't you always hear that?
Yeah.
The reform.
But
meanwhile, that's not going to.
I know.
So I felt real weird. And I had to explain to them that I was a bartender and I kept late hours, and these were my hours. But they really didn't. And you know what it is? Like, are you like me when you're getting questioned by cops, even like when you're completely 100% innocent, you feel nervous?
100%.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm already like that. Like, I used to tell the story on stage, but I am like that. Like, if I'm at like even a red light and the cop car's behind me, I'm like 10 and 2. Like please, like, what's in my trunk? There's nothing in my trunk, but like, you know, I'm just getting nervous.
Or I always think, at least in the state of New York, I always think, what if I give my license to them, even though it might have been just like, ran through a stop sign, innocent stuff, give my license to them, but then I didn't know my license was suspended for whatever reason because I didn't pay a parking ticket.
Then you spend a weekend in jail.
Then you get put in prison. Yeah. That's a rule in New York. I don't know if it's every state, but a New York State rule, if you have a suspended license, doesn't matter if you've never even convicted a crime, you've never even committed a crime ever in your life.
It's rough.
You will go to prison if you're driving with a suspended license.
I've had friends that had like outstanding tickets they didn't know about, and then like they had to go to jail. Like
stupid.
But then it was like on a Friday evening or something like that. So then they had to wait till Monday.
Yeah.
So it's like over like 2.5 days in jail.
Yeah.
For an infraction.
An infraction.
Yeah.
Imagine like you got that 2.5 days in jail. Like it's literally just like you're the nicest guy ever, but it's literally you have to go to jail because your license is suspended and you don't get to see the judge till Monday. But in that weekend, you had to fight for your life and you kill someone in prison, but then get convicted of murder. So literally now it was just going to be a weekend, but you felt like you had to defend yourself, but it wasn't self-defense. They didn't believe the Oscar Pistorius bullshit.
Right.
And you've killed now someone in prison accidentally.
This sounds
and
like
now
a
you're
movie.
25 to life. Yeah. That's the movie.
Yeah. And
That's Hey Babe the movie.
Yeah, that's
Hey Babe. We're doing a clean podcast. We got pulled over. We have to kill someone. We become each other. We become the prison bitch of Attica State Prison in upstate New York.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
But so I felt like real ineffective and scared after that.
Of course, dude. So what happened? You just go back to sleep?
I didn't go back to sleep, but I went back downstairs. But
Did you have another bagel?
I gotta get points for that, right? I went.
Yeah, dude.
I get points.
I got to be honest with you. If listen, in the middle, just waking up out of a dead sleep, our minds maybe aren't catching up to the thing where it's like your mind probably, you were asleep, so it took a while to process. I wonder if you would have been awake and he came knocking on your door, but you're fully alert for hours if you would have went.
I know, dude. He didn't wait. And like I tell you, by the time we got on the steps and we were in a situation where he was going to kick that last door down and it was do or die, it was maybe only like 90 seconds since I was woken up with that banging like that.
Why do you think he thought someone was still in the house?
Well, they could be. They very well could be, right? Why not? I mean,
but why not just call the police anyway and just let them do it?
Well, I mean, he is the police.
That's
He's a
true.
hands-on kind of guy. It's your own home. I mean, maybe you want, who knows what's going on in there, or
that's like one time.
I don't know.
There was a fire in my basement, like a legit fire.
Yeah.
It was causing it was a fire that was happening, and then it was also like an electrical fire, and it was having carbon monoxide go through the house. So we got woken up again 2:30 in the morning by the FDNY fire department. My cousin and my aunt who live downstairs have a cat, and she at the time, I believe, my cousin was in school to be a firefighter. She is a firefighter right now. She was in school at the time to be a firefighter, and the fire department wouldn't go in and get her cat. And she was like, I know where my cat is. It hides on the roof in the basement. And they were like, well, that's where the fire is. That's where the carbon monoxide is. We can't go down. And she was like, I'm going to go in and get my cat. And they're like, you cannot go in there. You're a dangerous situation. And, my mom, her mom are like, don't go in there. She's like, I'm going in. Goes in, comes out 30 seconds later with the cat. The cat is laying like in a cartoon, dude. Its paw is like limp. It's laying. It's got like its tongue out. We thought the cat was dead. She brings it over to the EMT. There was an ambulance there. They put oxygen, a little oxygen mask on the cat, revive it. We were on New York 1, the news. No. Swear to God.
I thought you were going to say they gave the cat electrolytes.
Yeah. No, we were on New York 1, because they revived the cat, and everybody started clapping when we revived the cat. Everyone was like, yeah! It was like this happy story. It was like something you'd seen in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah. Oh wow. And you got what's his name? Pat. Who's New York 1? Pat Milligan? No.
He's always on Jeopardy.
Shout out Patrick Milligan.
Pat Kiernan. Shout out New York 1. If you're not from New York, you probably don't have New York 1.
Yeah, but Pat Kiernan's a G.
Pat Kiernan's awesome. If you wherever you live in the world, just try to get a subscription to New York 1 because Pat Kiernan's insane.
Pat Kiernan, like there's no one that doesn't love that man, right?
He's the best guy of all time.
He's just got a really nice temperament.
Yeah. Where do you think they film New York 1?
I don't know. I think I was there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My chain fell off.
It disconnected from your body? Whoa, how'd that happen?
Who knows?
If you didn't notice that, you would have lost a chain.
Would have lost a chain. You know why, I think?
Side note, you wear chains.
2 chains. I wear 2 chains.
I don't think I've ever seen a chain on you. Is it always tucked underneath?
I always tuck it underneath.
Well, let me ask you this. If it's tucked underneath, what are you getting out of it?
It's a good point.
You understand what I'm saying? Aren't jewels the point of them to show?
I don't want to be a guy who's flashy, and I don't want to be like, oh, look at me, I got jewelry on. But I like to wear...
Sentimental?
No. I bought it on Amazon.
It's for jewels.
Yeah, it's for jewels.
It's like to show social status.
I think... Yeah, but not even.
I don't even know.
Yeah, because the truth is, like, what are you going to see? The top of the chain from my neck?
Well, is that what it is? Just like, hey, this guy's got a little bit of, like, style in him, and he's got a little bit of, like, he made some good choices.
Should I be wearing the chains outside the shirt? Is it stupid to wear a chain in your shirt?
So do those come off, or do you shower in those and sleep in those?
I pretty much shower them and sleep in them.
Do you shine them? Do you clean them?
No.
Never. So those don't come off your body, and just now that thing just unraveled itself?
I want to say this is the first time this chain has come off my body in about 3 months.
Wow. You only
Smells good.
I only know 2 people that I could say wear chains all the time. You and Paul Verzi.
Shout out Paul Verzi.
Shout out Paul Verzi. Got the herringbone anywhere he goes. On the outside.
He wears on the outside. As a matter of fact, I got the idea even to start wearing 2 chains when I did your Impractical Jokers cruise with the great Casey Jost. He also wears 2 chains.
You know what? Casey does wear chains. You're right.
He wears 2 chains. Great Casey Jost.
Yes. Wow, look at that. Wear them out.
Yeah. Speaking of gray hair, you had a whole bit about you want to do about gray hair last week. Casey Jost has got the best gray hair in the business.
Yeah, he's got the best. He has great hair, and it's gray, and he's already like full gray now.
He's got great
suits him so
gray
good.
hair. Yes.
Wait, I just want to go back to the chains. So you purchased them yourself.
On Amazon.
You bought jewelry.
No,
gold?
actually, no, not on Amazon. Not on Amazon. I got them from some company in England, and they sent me these 2 chains and then also a silver chain like a dog collar. And there was one point in my life where I was wearing all 3 at the same time, and Jasmine, my girlfriend, said, you have to take one off.
Yeah.
You have to allow 2. You can't wear 3 chains, 2 gold, 1 silver.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You can't.
And
How much were these chains?
They sent you a choker?
they sent me a choker. I think it's called Jackson. Let me see. I think it's called Jackson.
They gifted you these, or you paid for them?
Also, Sal, I filmed him work out in these. Do they smell? Do chains smell?
They don't. I mean, as of now,
You smelled them. You said they smell fine.
they smell fine. Here, let me see. Maybe I thought that they were sponsoring a podcast, but maybe I bought them.
So you're in the shower.
Jackson, that's what it's called.
you're-
Jaxxon.
In the shower, you're nude with 2 chains.
I'm nude with 2 chains.
And they gifted you, or you purchased?
No, I purchased them on
The first thing that comes up is a studded diamond cross.
Yeah, I purchased them on September 5th. It says order number 53206 confirmed.
How much money?
It doesn't say. Oh, thank you for your order. Let's see. I bought the rope plus Cuban gold 22 plus 24 at $229.
Total?
It says total. Well, but I also put in a discount. I also put in some type of code for $22, so a total of $206.
2 gold chains plus shipping for $206. Is it plated?
And silver.
3 chains.
They sent me
2 gold.
Yeah.
And it's for $200. That sounds suspect to me. But you wear them 24/7. They don't turn color.
They've never turned
Are
one
they
color.
plated
Nothing.
or solid? 22 carat.
I don't know what that means. It says
14
22 plus 24. So what does that mean?
I don't understand. 24 carat.
Maybe it's the length. Oh, because one's
inches.
long.
It's the inches.
One's long, one's short.
So that's 14
How does this
karat
look
gold.
like this? Good?
Yeah, you look like
Like I think who I am. Kind of thing.
like you look like you look like you recently gifted somebody money for their communion or something.
Yeah. See, that's why I like to hide it. Because if it's just poking out of the back a little bit, you're like, all right, this guy's all right.
So is this a fashion choice? Is it like I really am trying to understand, because I had chains as a child, but really my parents got me those. And I had the horn, or like I had an S. One time I had a Yankee sign. As a kid, you'd switch up the charm on there.
I used to wear earrings all the time, too. I used to wear chains and earrings.
Yeah.
I feel naked now without the chains. For a long time, I felt naked without the earrings. But then I got used to it. But now I feel naked without the chains.
What about you and Giannis? I bought you guys the Playboy Bunny nameplates.
I have it.
Solid gold.
So
The old school, it says Chris and then Giannis, and on one side it's like an ace of ace, and down here is like the Playboy Bunny carved out on like a plate. It was like what everyone wore here in my grammar school, like in high school.
Yeah, no.
Like you wore a turtleneck and you wore the chain outside the turtleneck with the gold plate. When you guys were doing Bay Ridge Boys,
Yes.
I was like, I'm going to give you an old school Bay Ridge type of gift.
the issue for me with that one was I have to take it to a jeweler because it just barely fit. It would literally be putting pressure into my neck, so I couldn't wear it. It was so short.
Oh, because it came with the chain too.
So I had to get
But
a little
take the
long-
chain off.
put it on
the
this?
pen off, put it on that.
That's what I should do.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do then.
That was, I actually went to a jeweler and had those custom made.
You kidding me, dude? I never forget what you gave me. You gave me mine in Vegas.
Did I?
In a Vegas hotel room. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were on the road, right?
Yeah, we were on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot where we were.
I remember you, because you also like, did you never see those charms before? Because I do have like some years on you. Were you like, because it was ironic. Like, I didn't think you were going to walk around with a big gold chain with your name, like a pen with your name, but I did. But I thought you'd do it in a way that was fun.
No, there was one of those things where I looked at it and I said, this looks familiar. And then when you explain, like, these are the old school chains, I was like, oh, yeah, that's why it looks familiar. You used to see guys on that in the 90s.
Throw a picture of it up right here. We have it. I'll get it. Yeah. So, shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out gold chains. Okay, so you wear the gold chains.
I wear the gold
you wear
chains.
them inside.
Yeah, but I don't wear rings or any. I don't have a toe ring or anything like that.
So that's like aesthetic to you? Is that what it is?
I guess, to be honest with you, now that you're actually asking me what's the why,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why I'd be wearing these chains. As a matter of fact, and Jasmine has brought that up to me before. She's like, what's the point of the chains?
No, I'm not against chains in any way.
I think
I'm just trying to
you're
understand
in cahoots with members of my family to get me the chains.
I'm just trying to understand why you wear a chain. Like, like, what is it to you? What is it to you? It could be fashion. It could be flash. It could be, just you used to it. It could be the look.
I'm just used to it. Like, yeah. And, and it's one of those things too where, like, anytime I've been like mic'd up for like doing a production or something like that, the sound guy will always be like, can you please take off your chains?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to take off. But then I say, like, but then I get an attitude, not an attitude, but like I get angry and I'm like, I don't want to take off my chains. But why am I even wearing my chains?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, you're not very scared that you found one fall off just now? How'd that happen?
I don't know. But it's the first time it's happened. Well, because I guess they collectively both cost $229.
Yeah.
Something's going to give.
Right. You should see. I should bring you. I could go downstairs right now and get my. I go downstairs right now and get my jewelry box that has all the jewels from when I was like 10 years old. I have it all.
If you want to
it's
go
in
get
my
it,
closet right now.
Go get it.
Should we make fun of it?
Yeah, why not?
Hey, babe. You know that I love cereal?
Yes.
It's one of my top 3 foods.
Right.
And I couldn't eat it. I had to abandon cereal because most cereal is terrible for you.
Right.
It's just sugar, no matter what you think. It just nets out to sugar. So I stopped, but we got a sponsor on board. I tried it, and cereal is back for me.
It's got to be Magic Spoon.
Magic Spoon.
Everybody talks about Magic Spoon.
Yes.
I mean, everybody literally, because it's got 13 grams of protein, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs, and it's only 140 calories a serving.
You have a stroke. Just
I'm
do you
sorry.
smell toast?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Listen to me. Here's the part, though.
I lost my mind because I got excited.
It's zero sugar, though.
Zero sugar.
It's zero sugar. So, and they have like chocolate, they have frosted, they have fruity.
Cocoa with peanut butter, which they say tastes exactly like a peanut butter cup.
It is, like, you know how you like have healthy cereal and it tastes like, oh, this doesn't taste right?
Right.
Somehow they made this cereal taste like actual cereal again.
Yeah.
And then you could just eat it and it's not bad for you. It's like, it's ridiculous. I've been pounding boxes of this stuff. I probably cancel out the health benefits by eating a sleeve of 4 boxes of Magic Spoon every time I eat it.
Well, listen, if you go to magicspoon.com/heybabe, you get a variety pack and you get $5 off your order. But here's what you got to do. You got to go to magicspoon.com/heybabe, but also put in the promo code HeyBabe. Don't forget to put in the promo code HeyBabe after going to magicspoon.com. HeyBabe. Sorry. I'm just going to let Sal do it. I love Magic Spoon.
Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/heybabe and use the promo code HeyBabe to save $5 off. Babes.
Yep.
We are in the thick of 2020's ugly sequel, and guess what? Life can still be stressful as F.
Yeah, I mean, if you're feeling that existential dread whenever you have a couple of minutes of downtime, you might be experiencing those scaries.
Luckily, our partners at Sunday Scaries make the best F and CBD products to turn those WTFs into LOLs.
Forget about an old awkward date or that time you responded to a server telling you to enjoy your meal with a good old you too. Sunday Scaries is here to provide you the remedy to make life not so scary.
Their CBD gummies are so perfect. They're the perfect product to help you kick back and chill the F out. They even added vitamins B12 and D3 to get that extra boost of vitamin goodness to give you the perfect blend to make you more tolerable to coworkers and friends.
Babe, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You vegan?
No.
Sunday Scaries even has vegan gummies called Vegan AF that are the guilt-free version of CBD you've been kindly hunting to help you forget about Becky Showboat IG account.
Don't get shook in 2021. Get 20% off at sundayscaries.com and use the promo code HeyBabe.
20% off at sundayscaries.com with promo code HeyBabe.
That's 20% off at sundayscaries.com with the promo code HeyBabe.
Thanks, Sunday Scaries, for making Sundays
chill again.
Hey, babe.
This is the jewelry box I've had since I was born.
It looks like you've stolen off Blackbeard chip
Yes.
or something.
This was like a style when I was younger, and this was
have
my
a treasure chest.
I guess this was my mom's or someone before her in my family, And I just always thought it was like, for me, it's very sentimental.
It's a nice piece.
It's the weirdest thing in the world. It's a nice piece.
It's a nice piece, and I like that your jewelry chest has chains on the side of it.
Look at this.
Yeah, look at that.
But I mean, there's pictures of me as 3 weeks old with this on my mom's bureau, like this thing. So it means a lot.
It actually looks, even though it's from the, I would assume 70s, it looks kind of modern and new and cool. Like if you told me, you just bought
a fish tank.
No, dude, if you said, hey, I just bought this yesterday at West Elm, I'd say, oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's so old it went vintage.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's without a doubt 50 years old or something like that. I didn't touch this, okay? So I'm going to take you through some of the jewels I wore. You're going to make fun of me. Oh, wow. This is my first ever earring.
What?
Yeah, I got my ear pierced after the junior prom.
And this is your first, Sal's first ever. Wow, this is an old school freaking earring.
Yeah, right.
And then this is. I can't believe you didn't lose the back. Oh, I would always lose backs, and then I'd have to take a pencil eraser and put a pencil. How many of my earrings when I was a kid, I would go through my ear, and then the back of it was a pencil eraser. Yeah, everybody had to do that.
That's like a hack.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, you would lose. You would always, because the backs were so easy to lose.
Right.
Then you'd have to take the pencil eraser off your pencil, and that would be your earring back.
How jank is that?
Yeah.
All right, ready? This I was wearing at my communion. It's a pinky ring. Look at that. Look at that ring. Can you get in there?
Look at that ring.
It's got a little diamond chip on it. That was my first jewel ever.
And it was a pinky. The fact that you still have this is insane.
Is it wild, right? Is it wild?
All goes into the boat that you're a serial killer.
Here's my first ever chain.
Let's see if it fits.
It's probably like turning black. It's probably not real. I don't even know.
This is your classic when they say, is it turning green? That's how you know it's fake. And this is at the top. This is green, green, green.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. These are the 4 pendants I used to switch. So this okay. This is a Jesus Christ.
This is a podcast with 2 straight men going through one of that man's jewelry box collection.
This is Jesus Christ on the cross. That's his head. That used to be.
Oh my God! This is a decapitated golden Jesus.
He has on the crown of thorns and everything.
This is literally, Sal used to walk around with Jesus' head on his chest.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That was I used to wear that around it when I made my communion. I had that.
Look at that. Look at Jesus' head. Look at how disgusting my fingernails are. I bite my nails, I have anxiety.
This one is an Italian thing. You ever get the horn?
Yes, but what is the significance of the horn again?
It's supposed to ward off evil spirits.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It looks like a woman's leg.
Of course, you had to have the Yankee symbol.
Of course, yeah. This even I had the Yankee symbol.
You had that? Now look at this one. I started doing this before anybody else. Anybody in hip-hop, Kesha, anybody. In 8th grade, I'll put it on the Patreon, I have a picture of the 8th grade graduation sheet cake. And they wrote every single name of every person in the class on the cake. And there was 2 Sals, and they wrote my name, Sal, with a $sign. For all of 7th and 8th grade, whenever I signed my name at the top of a test or anything, I wrote my name Sal with a $sign.
With a $sign.
I used to wear that.
And did a teacher ever say you can't do that anymore? Nobody ever cared.
No, they completely let me do it.
Sal with a $sign. Look at that. Dude,
I used to do that. Can you believe that? And they just accepted it. The school used to write my name as a $sign.
Really?
Yes.
What a very progressive, cool school.
Yeah. Look at this. Would you ever see me in this thing? That's when I got a little older.
This is the thing. This is the thing that I feel like I got.
You would wear right now.
What is this? A bracelet?
Bracelet.
Oh my God! Because I tried to put it on my neck. I was like, "What is little baby neck Sal used to have?"
Look at that. I don't know what I was doing there. This was 20 years ago. Then in college, I moved to this type of jewelry. Remember this stuff? The cheap nonsense that's like,
yes,
you remember?
But this is like this. Every time I see somebody wearing this, it looks like you're like you're a cannibal.
It looks like I'm in White Snake.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah, but like this kind of thing, I feel like
I used to wear that.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I was into like heavy metal and like.
I feel like this is but
glam
I
rock.
have this almost exact cross tattooed on my back.
Now, did you ever wear the shark tooth stuff?
Like the thing? No. But here's my most embarrassing thing.
Let's see it.
My most embarrassing thing. So I started wearing silver jewelry and this type of jewelry, right, in college, and I walked around with these rings on at all times.
Let's see them.
This is so bad, dude.
Let's see them. Wow. Look at these rings. First of all, they have one of these is actually the emblem that's used on the flag of the nation of Turkey. That's what I swear to God. Yeah, that half moon.
Yeah.
That is the symbol of the flag of the nation of Turkey. So Sal was walking around with full, stars, and then this one. Here we go. Here's this one. It has dolphins on it. This is just dolphins swimming around his finger.
That even me, I'm like, what were you doing?
And then last but not least, I mean, this is just stars, the sun. This looks like hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphics.
I walked around with those on my fingers as like,
we're
18. Like I would go down the shore and it'd be like at the beach, at the boardwalk, you'd buy like silver jewelry.
Right.
And it was the same type of vibe. It was always like, the sun.
But dead serious. But dead serious,
Dead serious,
like you
dude.
thought, like you'd walk up to a woman and be like, "What's up? Can I get your number?
What's
with
up?
sun rings
Can I
on?"
get your number with sun rings? Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, never mind that this one has stars, sun, and moon.
Right.
Which is terrible.
Right.
But the dolphins.
Right. The dolphin.
I just sound like
Sebastian. He would go, "The dolphin rings? Aren't you embarrassed?" Yeah.
You're wearing the ring.
Wearing the rings. That's insane, dude. But for me, the best part of that whole thing is your treasure box.
Yeah.
What's the treasure box? You think you'll keep that for another 50 years?
I'll keep that forever. I
Right,
really
that's
will.
great.
Do you have anything? Do you own any possessions that you have that went from when you were born?
No. That's
Nothing.
the thing I don't, and
What's
I wish
the
I did.
oldest possession you have?
The oldest possession I have.
I have things from the day I was born.
The only thing my mother has a hair from the day I was born. She has my hair, which is weird. It's a weird. My mother has a weird.
She took your hair off your
She has human baby hair in a
Yeah,
baby.
but when you just came out of when you just were born,
What? Or from like one of the first.
or maybe your first haircut.
Maybe she has hair from when I was.
Haircut. Okay. She didn't like take it off you when you came.
Dude,
when
here's
you
what an
delivered.
idiot I am, and I wish I was better at keeping things and keepsakes and all that. My father, on the day I was born, wrote this beautiful handwritten letter marked August 26, 1984. Beautifully handwritten, just a poem, like not a poem, like just like how much he loves me and how much I've changed his life, and actually going over the events that were going on in his life at that time, what he wanted to overcome, the things that he wanted to help with my mother. Folded it up, kept it in pristine condition in a little envelope for 25 years. Gave it to me the day I graduated graduate school because he said, I wanted to give this to you the day you became a man, because he said, I feel like I really became a man when I became your father. He said, and now you got and graduated to graduate school and got your doctorate degree. He was like, you became a man today in my eyes, and I want to give you this letter. He gave me that letter. On the car ride home, I lost it.
You don't have that letter?
I don't have that letter.
Oh my God, what are you, crazy? I almost cried just now.
I read it, cried in the car, and I put it into my pocket like an idiot. And when I opened the door, or when it must have fallen out of my pocket at some point. But I'm talking about a 25-year keepsake I lost in the first hour of having it.
Let's also not gloss over the fact that is the most non-Chris Distefano's father thing that he's ever done. From everything we know about him,
yes,
that's like the polar opposite.
Yeah,
that was like one of the most. I actually have a story that kind of reminds me of this. That's unbelievable. And you lost that.
I lost it.
I have the stuffed animals from the day I was born.
Okay.
I have the outfit that I came home from the hospital. I have downstairs. I have like that sack they put me in.
Right.
Like it's
Once
almost like
again,
a onesie.
let's write things down about Sal and then things about a notable serial killer, and you tell us. We have to make that game.
Items highlighted in yellow are mandatory. Must read. Please feel free to ad-lib the introduction with a personalized story, or start with the below introduction, or an alternate introduction from page 2. Wouldn't it be great if there was a pocket-sized guide that helped you sleep, focus, act, be better? There is. And if you have 10 minutes, Headspace can change your life. Next, please mention all the talking points below. Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations in an easy-to-use app. Headspace is one of the only meditation apps advancing this and meditation through clinically validated research. So, whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. Overwhelmed? Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you. Need some help falling asleep? Headspace has wind-down sessions for the members swear by. And for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations you can do with your kids. Headspace's approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, and increase your overall sense of well-being. Hosts to talk about their experience with Headspace. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 five-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads. Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you. On your schedule, anytime, anywhere. Call to action, must read. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/heybabe. That's headspace.com/heybabe for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/heybabe today. Disclaimer: failure to read highlighted items will result in a make good request. Page 1 of 2.
I will, next episode, I will bring up the thing that I came over from the hospital in. It's this big. It's like a sack. It's like a onesie, but it wasn't a onesie that buttoned underneath. It was almost like a hefty cinch sack. Like the bottom had like a rope tie, and you pushed it together.
Like a potato.
Yeah, like a potato sack.
Yeah.
And it said Sal on it.
It's amazing.
Ironed on.
Great parents.
You remember they ironed? You remember those the letters? They used to iron on those like velvety letters.
Right.
Yeah, it says Sal right on. I got it downstairs.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So I do keep stuff like that.
But that's good. But I think you keeping that and that has value to you is a beautiful thing. I have things from, kept, my daughter's only 5, but I have things from when she was born. I keep things for her. Yeah. And I actually wrote her a letter on the day she was born, and I still have that. Wow. So maybe it's about, because you know what's something that somebody told me once? You'll never, ever, ever be able to love your parents the way that they love you.
Is that true? Huh?
And I'm realizing that now. Like, Delilah, my daughter's never going to love me as much as I love her.
Right.
Just like I can't possibly love my mother and my father as much as they love me, because it's just like a nature thing. And I only understood that when I had my child. I was like, oh, the unimaginable love. I don't care at all.
It's like a bond beyond.
If my daughter said to me, and hopefully you never would, I always be the best dad I can, but like if she said to me, Dad, I don't love you, I hate you, it wouldn't change an ounce of the love I have for her.
Right.
Where if my mom and dad, sometimes my mom will write love you instead of I love you, and I'll go and I'll be depressed for a week. I'll be like, my mother doesn't love me.
You're one of those people that need the eye?
She didn't put the eye. I need the eye.
My sister writes I love you. I'm like, love you. And she's like, what is this? She gets genuinely
Sal,
mad.
I agree with your sister.
Why do you need eye?
I want to do a podcast with your sister.
But why why do you need the eye?
I just want to look to the camera to Sal. What's your sister's name? Can you say it?
Yeah, Jenna.
Jenna, I love you.
she write, I love you. I miss you. All right, love you. Miss you. She goes, and she'll
love
call
you, miss
me.
You is bullshit.
She'll call me and she'll go like, can you just please put the eye? And
yes.
I'm like, I don't understand what this even means. What do you think this means?
Love you. It's such a love you. Like I don't matter to you. If you put I love you, that means I, as a human being, I am internalizing my love for you, and I'm packaging it in such a way that I'm writing it in the language that we've been given by God.
Wow.
I love you. Just love you. You might as well just say you. It's the same thing.
Really?
It's the same
you
thing
put
to
that
me.
much stock into it?
Pimp agrees.
You agree?
Pimp is making.
I mean, I think we're making a big thing out of nothing.
Here we go. From Jeff Tenney, who lives in the United States of America. So good luck finding him. Love you is lazy. It demonstrates you don't necessarily love. You're just saying it as routine. Like you love somebody because you're supposed to, or nothing bad enough has happened yet. So yes, you keep up the charade of pretending there is. By the way, charade spelled like that? Or is it C-H-A? He's got it.
No, that's wrong. It's C.
Yeah, so now the fact you're spelling charade wrong, he spells it S-H-A-R-A-D-E. It's like, if you don't know how to spell charade, what do you know about love?
Yeah, who is this, Jeff? Jeff, you idiot.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me about I and grammar, and then he spells charade with an S.
You keep up the charade of pretending there is love in your relationship. You tend to think you can't really call out someone who says love you because they are positive, happy words by definition. When you say I love you, you're putting emotional attachment with the positive, happy words. You're reaffirming to the one you love that you are still in love with them. The only reason to not put the I in front of the words you love you is the love has been lost, and the person is dropping the subtle hint of saying, yeah, I may love you like I love ice cream, but you don't deserve my emotional attachment anymore.
Jeff Tenney is somewhere right now. Without a doubt, he has body parts in his freezer.
100%.
You're talking
Jeff
about
Tenney's,
me because I bring a AAA battery on the road. I'm crazy. This guy writes a 9,000 word dissertation about the letter I in front of love.
Listen, I'm
You
telling
guys
you
are
though right now.
overreacting.
I got friends that work
You
for the
think
airline.
But you think your mom doesn't? Wait, you get
My
mad at your
mom
mom.
says love you.
Think
My
your
dad
mom
says I
doesn't
love-
love you more because she doesn't put the I as much.
There's been times where I've had to honestly ask myself, does my mom love me after a text when she's saying happy birthday, love you?
What about love you? I used to do a bit on love you and love ya. Because
Yeah.
like a lot of times, especially guys, love you, bro. They have to write the ya because in the same vein, love you is a little bit too intimate, and it's like, well, I'm not in love
Right.
with you.
Right.
Like guys are so funny, or people are so funny when they do, or even just like regular people. It's like if you say love, you could say love ya to someone if you like them a lot, and it's slightly more casual. But if you say I love you,
Right.
or love you to someone.
Right.
Like whenever anyone tells me love you, I go back, I love you so much. I go full the other way. I want to make things, because I know that they feel uncomfortable. That's why they're saying love you.
Right.
And I'm like, I want you to know that I love you so much
That
with
I
all
love
of my
you so
heart
much,
and
yeah.
being soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say it, and then I go in hard every time. Like I look them right in the eyes and I go, I love you.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. If you proposed to me, romantic getaway, Paris, something gorgeous. I mean, you did all these things for me. You put, my name, will you marry me up in the sky? Said that you want to have children with me and start a family with me. And I said yes. And then if you ended all that with love you, you made me the happiest man in the world, love you.
You're crazy.
I'd give you the ring back. I'd say,
You're
put the
crazy.
ring, put it back in your treasure box along with your snakes and whatever else you got along with your moon rings. I'm not doing it. If it's I love you.
But you're making love you to be love ya.
Right.
That love ya is the offender here, not love you. If I was
think I's the offender.
Marry me, love ya. Then you'd be like, what is going on here? That's not real love.
If you said marry me, love you, I would say no. What aren't you missing something?
Why would you say no?
Because you don't love me.
I
If you're
think
saying love you, you have to say I love you.
You're getting hung up on
Love
something.
you is like a bumper sticker. It's like you could have. That's just a generic thing. That's a copy and paste. That's a bumper sticker thing. I love you is I thought about that.
The most I could agree with you with is that I love you is a bit more formal and direct than love you.
Right.
I can agree with that sentiment, but I cannot agree that love you coming from someone who loves you is any different than saying I love you.
We're going to agree to disagree because I love you.
Oh, I love you.
Again, this is a podcast with two grown men who are both straight, talking back to back about the difference between love you and I love you and their jewelry. Here we go. How long do you usually wait to say I love you? They say the 88 days you got to wait to say you love your significant other. Men take an average of 88 days to tell a partner I love you compared to a woman's 134.
This is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my entire life. PsychologyToday.com can go f yourselves. I mean, what are they doing here? So the second someone says I love you, they count the days that they've known the person and then mail that information into PsychologyToday.com. This is bullshit.
Well, they say 39% of men say I love you within the first month of dating someone compared to 23% of women. So women are not going to say it because I guess women have to make sure you don't have all these unforgivable things about you.
Did you ever say I love you and not get it back? I have.
You have?
I have.
I don't know. You know what the
But later I got it shortly thereafter, like a week later, and then I was in a long-term serious relationship.
I never got it back, but the biggest mistake I ever made is I told a girlfriend that I loved her for the very first time during sex, and that wasn't good.
Oh,
we were having sex, and I said I love you, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" During sex, and that really tampered the relationship. We have 2 children now, but.
I was about to be like, who is this? No, I was about to be like, really? Hello. You can't call a spade here. You have issues with people saying love you instead of I love you, which I think is a little unreasonable.
Okay.
So you can't come down on her for being like the first time you tell me is during the act.
I got caught up in the moment.
I was saying goodnight in the car.
Right.
And she was getting out, and I was like, all right, I love you.
Yeah.
And I love you. And it came out. I wasn't like being like, I'm going to tell her now. This is the moment. It just came out.
Right.
And I said it. And then she was like, oh, you know. And then she got out. And I remember she went in the house. And I just punched the steering wheel. I'm like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Idiot.
Dude.
You idiot. But then like a week later, it was like, Costanza. You ever see that Seinfeld? Costanza says, I love you. And she doesn't.
I never seen Seinfeld.
Oh.
What do you mean?
I've seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Seinfeld,
Really?
and it's always on in the background. I've never really seen
198 episodes.
I've never seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's this episode of Seinfeld where George tells his girlfriend, the girl he's dating, I love you. And then she doesn't answer him. And he's like, oh, shit. And then later he finds out that she's deaf in this ear. So he's like, oh, thank God, you know. So he's like, oh, so she didn't even hear me.
Right.
So then he looks at her and he goes, you know, I know you have... You know, I know there was some trouble there. I just want you to know the other day I told you I love you. And she goes, no, I heard you the first time.
I got to watch the show.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a funny show.
No.
Now I have a question for you guys. Do you believe in love at first sight? What do you think?
No, not at all.
No.
Nah, not at all. Lust, maybe.
Lust at first sight.
Initial
Love is
attraction.
ridiculous.
Initial attraction. Love is coming.
I'd be closer to loving a guy, not in a sexual way, but like being like loving a guy at first sight than I would a woman.
Well, because since you're a heterosexual person,
right.
A woman means that you have to, if you're going to commit to a relationship with them,
right.
You have to know them at a level of intimacy that deserves,
right.
Like you can't just throw that out there. You're going to have to live with them, you know, cohabitate with them. With a guy, you can be like, this guy's my kind of guy, my kind of fellow.
Love this guy.
I love this guy, and then that's all. You really don't have to like be that intimate.
Dude, you know what's not an I love you. I've never had an I love you mishap like you've have, but a first kiss, dude. This is true story. I don't know if I ever told you. I've never told you about my first kiss on the roller coaster at Great Adventure.
Go.
Okay. So we're on the roller coaster, the Great American Scream Machine, which is
I know it well. I know it so well.
Which is a roller coaster at Great Adventure in New Jersey, Vernon, New Jersey. That's where it is.
Yeah,
I think
Jackson.
Edit that part out. I said
You're thinking of Mount Vernon, and let me tell you something else. Mount Vernon is Action Park.
Action Park.
So
is
you were just
Jackson, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I'm on the roller coaster with my...
I feel like I'm going to remember as you tell me, but I'm so excited about this. Now, the Great American Scream Machine at one time was their premier coaster. It's not anymore, but I still love it as a throwback, nostalgic kind of thing.
Now it's King Dakar. King Dakar is unbelievable.
Oh,
it goes up and goes down.
King Dakar is in place of Great American Scream Machine?
Well, no, King Dakar is, I think, got the biggest fall in the country. So
Did you ever go on that?
Yeah, I went on in a rainstorm.
Yeah, blow your bees.
Blow your bees. We got to go to Great Adventure one day.
We should. It's a frolic session.
Patreon. Frolic session on the Patreon. We're going to have a
Patreon.
tier that we're just frolic. It's going to be unbelievable. Wait till the Patreon comes out. Okay, so I'm on the roller coaster, and I've been working up the courage for like so long to try to kiss this girl. We went on like a couple of dates. Like she was my teenage girlfriend. We went with I think it was, no, it wasn't family. How did we get out there? Maybe one of our friends had a car that was older. I don't remember exactly how I got out there, but literally it was perfect because my two friends who were dating, who were, as recently as I know, were still married to this day, but were dating, they were sitting right behind us. We were sitting in the roller coaster in front. They were sitting right behind us. So I had told the girlfriend of my friend, I was like, I'm going to go for the kiss on the roller coaster. And she was like, good. She's like, she wants to kiss you. Like, do it.
How do you get past the thing? You know?
No.
You know, like, you gotta go like that around, around the thing.
No, so what happened?
Oh, this.
Yes. Greater American Scream Machine didn't have that.
Yes.
It didn't have that. Unless it wasn't the Scream Machine. It didn't have this. Does the Scream Machine have this?
Maybe it was Rolling Thunder.
Maybe it was one.
Rolling Thunder was like a little strap on your waist and you could die.
This is the one you pulled in and they waited for the click.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was like Rolling Thunder.
So we're going.
You could have been on the runaway train as kids.
Yeah, I don't remember. So we're going up the thing on the roller coaster. Come down, and I said to myself, I said, don't like, even though I'm scared, don't make a scream, don't do anything, like you have to like show you're a man. So I'm going down. So the first thing I do is like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like, this is like scary, whatever. And she goes, oh, just hold me. So I was like, yes, hold. Okay. I'm in. Great. Okay. So we're in. We're going up the thing. We're holding each other. I'm like, this is gonna be right. Moving for the kiss. We go down. While we're going down, I just thought it would be the perfect time just because I'm so nervous.
You can't even, you'll chip both teeth.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
We're going down. When you go down on that roller coaster, yes, it makes a sharp turn. Your head go back and forth. I go in to kiss her as her head is coming at her. I go in to kiss her as her head is slamming into me. It hits the side of my face. She breaks her nose on the roller coaster.
No.
Yes. Full broken nose, gushing blood.
No.
Sal, I swear. Gushing blood. We have
Holy shit.
80% of the roller coaster ride left to go. There's blood flying on my face. When we got back, my friends behind me were covered in blood.
Like when Fabio got hit with that freaking pigeon.
Yeah. We're covered in blood. We're covered in blood, and it's so funny because like the guy running the ride, like saw like when you're coming out, it was like normally it's like a little school kid, but this one was like a 6-year-old guy. He goes, "You guys must have had a good time," and then so she gets, we have to go to.
You have to go to the medic.
Medic, first aid. So we're covered in blood. Go to the first medic. She's got an ice pack on for the rest of the thing. Her nose eventually, I think at that point we didn't think it was broken. She said it started to feel a little better, but then later on found out it was broken. I never got to kiss her. Her nose was swollen. I felt like an idiot the whole time. She broke up with me like 3 days later.
Wow. Did you actually stay at the park with like a bandage on?
Yes. She had an ice.
Because if you don't know it's broke, you just...
She thought it was
then
like
everybody's got to go
the
home.
medic was like, "Oh, just keep some ice on it, whatever." But it found out a couple of days later it was broken, and she dumped me. But that is the worst first kiss I was ever a part of.
Did you ever hear about when Fabio was on the roller coaster and the bird hit him right in the face?
No.
And exploded on his face?
Do we have video?
Yeah, it's on the Fabio. A bird hit him in the face. A goose.
Yeah, there's a picture. There we go. Fabio gets hit by. Did he tell a story of it, or you see it?
No, there's definitely a picture online
Here we go.
of him with blood all over his face from the goose.
How great was Fabio? Can't believe it's butter. Can't believe it's not butter. It's spray.
Yeah, that's him, right?
Oh, they have footage of this.
I only saw the photo. I never saw this actual video. He's gonna get hit with a bird in the face. Look!
Oh my God!
His entire face is demolished.
Oh my
God!
And
he's like half out of it, and there's just blood all over him.
What was his deal again? He was just a model. Like, why was he famous?
I think he was like a model, and maybe the inspiration for a lot of those romance novel covers.
What's he doing now, Fabio? Should we get him on the pod? You think he's listening? Hey, babe, Fabio, if you're listening, we'd love to have you.
There was a show that used to be on.
That's ridiculous.
Shout out Fabio. There was a show that used to be on. I think it was called like Average Joe.
Okay.
It was a dating show that I really was into at the time. It was maybe like early 2000s.
Right.
And I watched all 20 episodes of this dating show.
Right.
And it's the girl chooses the guy at the end, the average. It was the anti-dating show, right? Like, how The Bachelor, it was average guys. I think this was the conceit of the show. And I got really into it. You're rooting for these guys. They're like regular schlubby, regular dudes.
Right.
And at the end, this girl wins. Right, the girl picks this guy, and it's the last episode, and she eliminated all the other people, and they're supposed to date each other.
Right.
And it's like The Bachelor at the end, where she's like, I really think I have feelings for you.
Right.
And he's like, you don't understand, me too. So it's like that final moment, and you think they're gonna like either get engaged or be in a relationship together. In the episode, it's like the 20th episode, it's a finale. She's like, yeah, and like they're on the beach, she chooses him, they're talking, they're having like their first candlelight dinner after being chosen, and she's like, I have something to tell you. And he's like, what is it? And she goes, I just want to let you know, I used to date Fabio. Right? And then the guy goes, what? I'm out of here. And he gets up and leaves. After 20 episodes of staying on this island with her, she tells him at the candlelight dinner she used to date Fabio. It's too much for him to handle. He gets offended and he tells her, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And he breaks up with her on the camera. And then they're doing like a confession with him. And he's like, what was I supposed to do? She dated Fabio. Yeah. Like, what? You just went on this island for 20 weeks and you got picked. And now you can't handle the fact that her ex-boyfriend is Fabio?
Dude.
It was the strangest ending ever.
I couldn't agree with him more.
Really?
There is no. If my
care?
girlfriend who I have 2 children with told me today, by the way, I never told you, I one time went out on one date with Fabio, I'd walk away.
Is it because
I'd say,
Fabio
then let him raise the kids.
Is it because Fabio is like,
it'd be too much for me to take mentally.
Why?
I'd just be like, now I'd be like, anything I did for my family, I'd be like, well, I'm not Fabio.
oh, because you could never fill Fabio's shoes.
I could never fill Fabio's shoes.
He probably is a considerate lover.
Oh my!
If
Are you kidding
anything,
me?
right?
A hot Italian guy with long blonde hair.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's beefy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 61. God, shout out Fabio. Fabio Lanzoni. I never knew that was his last name.
Nice.
Lanzoni, 6'3", 61 years of age. Hold on, his birthday's in a couple days.
Let's call him.
God bless him.
Oh, he
Fabio,
began as a model and film star in Italy, then moved to New York City, become a fashion catalog model for the Ford agency, starting with modeling for print ads for Gap and doing TV spots for Nintendo.
Fabio, if you're watching and we know that you are, shout out.
Shout out.
Wait.
Now, are you guys? How did you get ready for your first kiss? Were you people who practiced kissing?
I don't remember.
I remember my first kiss.
Go ahead.
I think I was at a party.
Yeah.
I think I was at a Sweet 16 or something like that, or a party.
Yeah.
And it was when did you do this here? Like when we were younger, if you wanted to like kiss someone, a lot of times like you have a friend talk to one of their friends to
Right.
broach the subject,
Right.
to see if everything was going to be kosher.
Kiss,
with
yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, just so you know, like if you want to tell Marie, Sal likes her, you know."
Yeah.
And then you'd say he wants to know if you want to go for a walk.
Right.
Do you remember that?
No.
That's how it would be phrased when I was younger, all through my grammar school and high school.
Yes, I do remember this.
He wants to know if you want to go for a walk, and that meant that you just go down the block for a walk, kiss, and come back.
Yeah.
It sounds very like it sounds batshit crazy. Like that whole verbiage, that whole like way of that slang,
Right.
does not exist, and it has not since I was younger. And no one speaks like that anymore. And I don't think anyone can even relate to that. It sounds like very 1950s, like a Bronx Tale or something.
Right.
Like, hey, you want to go for a walk with my friend? But that's what it was. Or they would be like, she wants to go. Oh, go with you.
I want to go with you.
Go with you. Yeah. Oh, I went with her.
I want to go with you.
Oh, she's. I go with her. That just meant that you kissed.
Yeah, you want to
I go with you meant that you kissed someone. Yes,
Yeah.
you were around for that.
go with you. Yeah, I went with him. Go with you meant you kiss someone, and go with you meant you kiss someone. Yeah, wow, I don't remember that at all. I can't believe I forgot about that.
I know, me too. It just I haven't thought about that in forever. But you would literally be like, oh, you like her? I went with her like last year or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like,
Oh yeah, it could be like, oh, but are you going out with her? Or did you go with her?
Yes,
that's the difference.
It was like I love you and love you.
Yeah, I love you. I love
That's
you.
the difference.
Wait, so
Going out is I love you.
Because I could date you if you were one of my friends. If you had went with one of my friends, that was okay.
Okay.
If you had went out with one of my friends, I can't date you. That's a relationship.
No.
Not today. The Kembe Matumbo. Yeah.
Yeah, or she wants to go with you.
She wants to go with
if
you.
If a kid right now, like if like some 15-year-old kid or the 18, 17-year-old kid right now walked up to another person that was like, my friend wants to go with you. What the hell do you think they would think that is?
They call the police.
Yeah, go with me where?
Yeah, what are you talking about? No, go with you. Go out. Go when. Yeah.
So we go for a walk. That's
We
how
go
my
for a
first
walk.
one. You want to go for a walk?
Going for a kiss.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I was wearing a Larry Bird jersey.
Amazing. Great player.
Yeah. I remember it.
Yeah. I had my first kiss when I was 4.
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's odd.
That's odd.
Well,
Yeah.
how
4.
so? Well, you just mean like, what do you mean? You just mean
We
like,
were 4 years old.
you just mean like, what would you,
We used to go over to my mother's friend's house. She used to watch.
you have a memory or you saw a home video or something?
No, I remember. Maybe I was 5 then.
But you didn't, you mean like you kiss like 4-year-olds kiss, like you're like, I like her. Mwah.
No, I fully made out with a girl.
No. You French kissed a girl at 4?
Sal, we used to go.
What?
My
Who?
mom used to drop
How did
me-
you know a tongue was even involved? I remember the first time I saw a tongue, my balls were blown off. I
Yeah.
saw 2 guys. It was like the early 80s, and we might have been at Great Adventure. I was at Great Adventure with my family,
Yeah.
and this 2 hippie guy and girl, long beard. They're wearing like these tank tops and cut-off shorts, dungarees, cut
Yeah.
all shredded,
Yeah.
and they kissed. And then when they pulled apart, their tongues were going like that, and I was like, well, what the was that?
Yeah.
Tongues. And I remember that's the first time I ever saw it. I was like, but you were using tongue on someone at 4?
At 4 years old, my family, my mother used to bring me over when she would go to work. During the summertime, I'd be watched by a family friend who also had a daughter who was my age. And one day, I swear to God, behind her house plant, me and her made out. 5 years old, she touched my butt, I touched hers, and then we went back to watching cartoons. I swear to God.
Who brought up the butt touching?
I think it was her, dude. I got to be honest with you. It was her. She was the one that convinced me to do it.
So you went with her.
I went with her. We made out.
Your first kiss was at 5.
Yeah.
That you're in a small minority.
I know, dude. 5 years old.
Yeah.
It's borderline.
How do you
Like
kiss
it might be a reason why I have actual issues today. It might be one of the reasons why I get very upset if you just say love you.
Have your and this is Googling how do you kiss someone for the first time. Have your lips touch softly as you feel the person out.
Yeah.
Keep your lips just slightly parted and continue kissing the person for 5 or 10 seconds before letting go. Keep your hands active while you kiss.
Yeah.
Use your hands to cup the person's face, stroke their hair, or caress their neck.
Yeah.
That is
amazing.
That's words to live by.
Words to live by, baby.
So my first ever like serious girlfriend that I dated for like I got to be 5 or 6 years when I was kid.
Right.
I was my first love. Right.
Right.
And you know, at that time, dating 5-6 years at such a young age, you think you're gonna probably get married.
It's like dog years. Yeah. It's like that might yeah.
Our families knew each other, all that jazz. Right. So. The little romantic kid that I am, right? I start dating this girl. She was my friend first, and I liked her. I had a crush on her. I was nervous about telling her and all that stuff, right? And finally, one day I told her because my friend, I was in high school, I was 15. My friend, stop me if I told you this, but my friend got to be a guest DJ on Hot 97 for the night.
Oh my God. No, you never told me this.
And he was going to DJ, and I was like, oh my God, like you got to let me do an on-air dedication to this girl.
Right.
So he was like, I'm going to do it for you. And I was like, I couldn't believe this. So that night on like Hot 97, he's on. It's like 8 o'clock at night, and we're hanging out, and we were just friends up to this point, and we all lived in the same neighborhood.
Right.
So I had my Walkman. Because it was literally a Sony Walkman with the radio, right? Because I knew that I wanted her to listen to Hot 97 to this dedication. I was going to dedicate to her Come and Talk to Me by Jodeci.
Come and talk to me.
I really want to see you, girl. I really want to know your name. Come and talk to me. I really want to see you, girl. I really want to know your name.
So what happened?
Yes, and then it's like, I've been watching you for so very long, trying to get my nerve built up to be so strong. I really like to meet you, but I'm kind of scared. You're the kind of lady with so much class. I put my thoughts together for the very next day. But when I see you, baby, I forget what to say. Your eyes and hair, such a beautiful.
Does he say such a beautiful nose?
I don't know.
I think he says such a beautiful nose.
The way you dress today really turns me on. Ooh, it turns me on. Come on, come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you. Can I talk to you? I really wanna. You just now blew me away more than you ever have. Not with your stories, but like you. Sometimes I'm like, Led Zeppelin, and you're like, no, I don't know what Led Zeppelin is. But you knew every word to Come and Talk to Me by Jodeci, which was a hit in 1992. Is it 92?
I have the musical taste of a 14-year-old black girl who was born in the 80s. I swear that is my music.
You're 36.
36.
That's just 29 years old, that song.
Yeah.
So it was 7 when it came out. I thought you were going to go, I don't know who Jodeci is. I never heard her Come and Talk to Me. Let alone that, you knew every word.
Sal, I've been making out with girls since 1989 behind the house plants.
That's
You think
right.
I don't know little Casey and JoJo?
Jodeci.
Jodeci.
Yes, Jodeci.
That was Jodeci, but
Jodeci. Casey and JoJo we could Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo is Jodeci. That's all the same thing.
Oh, but it's not just Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo were in Jodeci.
Jodeci. They left one guy.
Casey and JoJo. Yeah, it's all the same stuff. Right?
Casey and JoJo.
Good. Yeah, they also led the singers of the Chop Tart.
Lead singers.
Jodeci.
Yeah.
The
you're
Great
exactly
Brothers.
right. Yeah. Wow, look at you. You even knew that. You son of a.
It's what it is. All right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna dedicate this song to her, right? And that night it happens. She hears it, and she doesn't know how to react, and we don't kiss for the first time.
Right.
We end up kissing a little bit later. I haven't thought about this but we end up kissing in my room in my house while slow dancing to a cassette tape of Bryan Adams, the song from Everything I do it for you. How corny is that?
Yeah.
Hysterical though, right?
Yeah.
Of the time. I don't know. It was like in Robin Hood or something. It was like the chart topper. And we're slow dancing in my room, and that's our first kiss, right? So fast forward, I'm in love with this person. So I decide that I know I'm gonna want to marry this person. Here I am, like 17. No, I'm gonna want to marry this person. 16 years old. I write her a letter saying, look, we just started dating a few months back. You've been my friend for a long time. I'm in love with you, and I feel like this is going to be a lasting relationship. And I'm not going to tell you right now, but I have these feelings right now. So I'm going to write them down because one day I'm going to hand you this letter, and I'm going to ask you, will you marry me?
Right.
not that exact words, but it was like a page, and that was the sentiment.
Did you write "Love you, Sal" or "I love you, Sal"?
I wrote "I love you."
Yeah.
Right, and I asked, and I proposed in this letter. I then mail the letter to myself and have it postmarked and sealed for that date. And I say, this is how I'm going to propose to this person one day. I'm going to hand her this letter from when we first started dating. It'll be years from now. It'll be stamped and postmarked, and it'll say, I knew I felt this way about you back then. This is what I thought of when your dad wrote you that note. I freaking did this. Can you believe this? How romantic is that
How old
shit?
again? How old again?
I was probably like 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then,
no
so
joke,
what happened with the
30 years ago.
relationship?
Yeah, no good at all. Terrible.
You broke up
yeah.
a month later. Done.
No, we dated for 6 years. And
You held on to that letter for all 6
the
years.
whole time. And then, things didn't go our way. I don't blame anything. We're kids, you know what I mean? Like, she made some mistakes.
Wait a
I
minute,
think.
you have this letter, no?
I probably have it somewhere. No,
Patreon. Patreon. I mean, Patreon.
But let me listen to this now. When I tell you, I haven't thought of this in 20-something years, right? So we ended up breaking up. She made some questionable choices. It was no more, right? So anyway, no big deal. We're friendly after that, and
Questionable choices. Like, you wonder what that is. Like, what did she join ISIS? Like,
yeah, she was a very early ISIS. And,
she was an early jihad.
So we ended up breaking up, and then it was hard for me at first. It was my first love, and I remember one day I told her, I said, I was heartbroken, and we might have moved past it, but I said, we're never getting back together at this point. I knew it. And so I don't know what, but I opened up to her and I said, I had this letter, I postmarked or whatever, and she was like very touched by it, I believe, right? And she was like, I can't believe that. That's the most sweetest thing, whatever, blah, blah. Fast forward a couple years later, now I'm a little bit more like in my mid-20s, and I run into her somewhere, and we hang out. We still kept in touch. And I was talking to her, and she writes me this email, or she writes me an email, and she goes, listen, I want to let you know something. There was this online website called something Candy. I forget what it was. It was like a lifestyle website.
Okay.
Daily Candy, maybe?
Right.
Something like that. And she goes, they were having a contest where you won a shopping spree for whoever had the most romantic proposal story. So she goes, so I wrote them and I told them how you proposed to me. But I just made believe that we went through with it and now we're married and that was the way you proposed. I won. So she's like, so I got a $5,000 shopping spree at this store in the city. Do you want some of the money?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't want any of that money, actually. Like, I think you should tell them, I have a better mind to write to them and tell them that this is a hoax.
We never got married.
Yeah, but you left me. I have the letter unopened.
Yeah.
Like, does Daily Candy want to know about that?
Yeah.
Let's see how fast that 5Gs comes right back to Daily Candy.
So you didn't take the money?
No.
But you never told Daily Candy?
No.
Right.
Now, if it's still a website, now you know.
Now you know, Daily
Go
Candy.
find her and get it
Wow.
back. Yeah, I think she went on a shopping spree with my proposal story that never went to be.
If he still has that letter, I mean, that's just...
We got to get this
That's
letter.
a must for the Patreon. A must.
Yeah, that's pretty intimate. I got to read it myself. It's probably wholly embarrassing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I was wearing these jewelry. Like I was wearing like Jesus' Christ head on a cross. Like I don't know. That was when I was younger. But like, it's got to be mortifying.
Are you a big letter writer? Is that normal?
No, I don't write letters.
No,
it just something struck me. I don't know how I thought of the idea.
It is romantic to write a letter.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, even right now, I was saying that, and I was like, that is a really romantic thing.
That's a very romantic thing to write the letter.
Yeah, it was not to be.
Well, what can you do? She missed out now.
But it, very much like your dad. I'm like your dad.
Wrote the letter.
Yeah.
Oh. Imagine your ex-girlfriend and my dad made the same questionable choices. She served prison time for racketeering and dealing with members of the mafia.
Your dad went on a date. Your dad went on a date. Oh my God, I haven't thought of this. Your dad. One of the things that was an issue was she ended up going on a date with a guy that was, I think, was like 5 years older than us at the time.
Oh my God,
which was a big deal.
Yeah,
like we're like 16. That person's like 21.
Yeah, well, it was a big deal because it was a crime.
It was a crime.
It was
a crime, Jeff with the red Mercedes.
This has been Hey Babe.
You want to know something else? Well, we cut out there. There's one other piece of information.
Do it.
I just remembered it for the first time right
What
now.
happened?
If I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken, they went. Well, this was just. I don't even know. I don't even think this is why we broke up. But I do remember this. This is way before that, I think. But I'm telling you, my mind has not thought about this for 25, 30 years. They went on the date. I just remember this. I think to see Sleepless in Seattle.
Ugh.
What year was Sleepless in Seattle out?
90. I'm gonna guess Sleepless in Seattle.
It's got to be 93. 93, maybe.
93.
They went into see Sleepless in Seattle. Do you know to this day I have not seen Sleepless in Seattle?
Oh my God.
I refused. Back then I refused.
Right.
Now it's just a matter of circumstance. I think it's funnier if I never see
If
it.
you never see it.
because of that.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
one of Tom Hanks' best movies, in my opinion.
Is it really?
I love
really
it.
missed the
Meg
Hallmark Tom
Ryan.
Hanks movie.
They have a great orgasm scene. It's
No, that's
P.S. I Love You.
That's
That's
Harry
You've Got
Met
Mail.
Harry Met Sally.
And Harry Met Sally.
You've got mail.
You've got mail.
That guy got no money for that.
No money for that in
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Oh, wait, yeah, catch me. I got another podcast, Christy Chaos. You can check that out. ChristyComedy.com for everything. And then we got our No Press YouTube network, which check out Taste Buds with our good pal Joe DeRosa.
New eps every Monday.
Every Monday. And
Sal VulcanoComedy.com. I might be getting some dates up there real soon.
ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. But that's it. God bless.
Can't wait for that. God bless you.
Don't be a fake, don't be a flake, don't run away from your feelings, babe. Don't be afraid, don't be ashamed, don't hesitate to say, hey, babe.